Now I can start drawing. I usually start with a rather soft 2B pencil. You got the fridge door coming down like this, and the bottom of the fridge goes like this. The other fridge door goes over here like this, and Freeze is in here. He's got his whole head stuck in. Freeze is essentially a big egg shape, and usually with the ball on top, but since we don't see his head, we don't have to do the ball on top. What we will do is wing. His wing comes out from here, goes like this, and his feet are under here. I'm going to turn the board a little bit just to get a sense of the right position for the feet. Alright, I don't like them when the drawings kind of get mushed together, so I try to keep things simple. Alright, now inside the fridge door, you can kind of see some of the stuff inside Nookie's fridge. There's a bottle of ketchup, tail of his balloons coming out like that, and some sort of like expression marks. Just the handle of the door kind of comes down like this. Some shading. I like to put sparkles on the fridge just because it's inside an igloo, so I'm sure it's pretty sparkly. This is sort of shading for Freeze underneath there, and Freeze's belly there. That's the first drawing. Okay, the second drawing is very similar, but just have a big exclamation mark in there. And I might actually do that first with a blue pencil. The exclamation mark is going to be right here, like this. Alright, so I got the fridge door coming down around about here. Then the other door comes down like this. Freeze is here. Again, he's a big egg. And his wing this time is going to be all the way up. Actually, I think the door needs to come down more like this. And I think I messed up his wing. So I'm going to erase. This is why I use a thicker pencil at first, because it's a little bit easier to lift with the kneaded eraser. Here's his tail. I think I'm going to have 1 foot up. Here's his belly. Alright, trying to get a little bit more gesture in that wing. Okay, and then finally the last drawing, which is obviously the most important drawing, is the drawing of Freeze like this, which I've drawn about 5 times here. I'm going to put it smack dab in the middle. I'm going to put a action line because his head's going to be here, kind of like that, and his body is going to be kind of like this, with his wings kind of going crazy. And I might even put his 2 feet in the air with his tail kind of down here, just so he's like, what? Alright, now he's got an ice cube on his head. The ice cube is going to go something like this. I don't want it to be too big. The mouth is going to be more open, like this. Like this. Get a little collar. And of course, his famous hook. And there's Freeze. This time he's like kind of going nuts. Wow! Okay, so the thing I do now is, after I've done the first pass, I take the kneaded eraser and I do the first erase. Believe it or not. I know it sounds crazy, but this is the only way to do it for me. I'll go ahead and erase my pencil like this to get rid of all the dark marks. It helps me see more clearly where the drawing is. And also it'll make it easier to erase later once I've inked it. So I'm really taking off all the dark marks here, especially in areas like that where there's a lot of lead. I take a harder pencil, a B this time. I put my hand on a piece of paper so that I don't smudge any of the lines on the other drawings. And I go over the lines here, almost as if I were inking. This gives me a really good line to work with later when I am inking. Alright, you see I'm drawing a lot more deliberately this time. That's because I'm simulating my ink pass. Now I know this seems nuts to some people, but for me, it's the best way. I'm just making sure my lines are tight and they're where I want them, and that everything is working the way I need it to work before I commit to an ink. Fixing an ink is a lot harder than doing a clean pencil. Because once I start inking, I go pretty fast, so I don't want to forget anything. And of course, he's got lines coming out like this. And just some little stuff floating around. Alright, believe it or not, I'm going to erase once again. I don't want to erase it too much because I still want to see where my lines are. These are my finished lines. And again, the reason I do this is because it just makes it so much easier to erase once the inking is done. You don't want to have to erase too much stuff under the ink because it tends to lift the ink off the page. Alright.